So who's piloting the plane? Who's leading the ship to the port? Is there a train conductor on board? Why am I saying these things? Because I think it's important for us to really ask ourselves this fundamental question, a question that all of us need to know. And I want to acknowledge this tweet from good friend of the show, Nico House, because he brings up something very important. Notice how Tony Blinken keeps addressing the nation regarding all conflicts in the Middle East and Ukraine over the last week. Joe Biden is effectively AWOL, and Kamala can't be bothered to be questioned on what looks like could be potentially World War III. The U.S. government is on autopilot. All seriousness, Kamala, all right, Biden's stepping away, but is Biden speaking anymore? No, because now they have him on a leash. Biden's irrelevant. But Kamala, last I checked, according to ranking, the vice president is second in command. And when the president is kind of kaput, out of commission, done, the VP should take over. So where's Kamala at? Is she going to be speaking? Or is she on the campaign trail? And is Anthony Blinken running the show? Well, here, let's listen to what he has to say.
A few words on the situation in the Middle East, because it is a critical moment. We are engaged in intense diplomacy, pretty much round the clock, with a very simple message. All parties must refrain from escalation. All parties must take steps to ease tensions. Escalation is not in anyone's interests.
Yeah, it'd be a good thing to tell Israel about that when they're trying to instigate shit with Lebanon. Trying to start something with Iran. Trying to instigate something with Turkey. I mean, my goodness. And here's the thing. When somebody takes a swing at you, we have a couple options. You defend yourself and fight back, or you try and run away. Now, none of these countries have legs in which they can run away. So they're kind of stuck. So Lebanon and Iran are kind of in a situation in which they are at risk of being attacked by Israel. And Israel, then in turn, once they attack somebody, are they going to be surprised when they start pushing back?
It will only lead to more conflict, more violence, more insecurity. It's also critical that we break this cycle by reaching a ceasefire in Gaza. That, in turn, will unlock possibilities for...
There's not going to be a ceasefire in Gaza, you dumb idiot. I know you're running the country, but my goodness, you're not that stupid, are you? You're not that stupid. I expect that stupidity from Kamala Harris and Joe Biden. But, oh, wait, you're part of the Biden-Harris administration. Or dare I say it now, maybe this is just how the whole Blinken operation was running. Hey, let's have democracy in the chat. For these 3.5 years, you think Kamala or Biden were making any executive decisions, or do you think it was people like Anthony Blinken leading us into this disastrous conflict, the sequel we've all been dreading, World War III? Type 1 for Kit, shame on you. How dare you even suggest something like that? Biden and Kamala were running this country just fine. You awful man. The type 2, no. They weren't running shite, okay? Never forget the parliamentarian. The parliamentarian decided everything. I wonder how many 2s will be in the chat. I wonder.
More enduring calm, not only in Gaza itself, but in other areas where the conflict could spread. So for the United States, for many other countries, both in the region and beyond, this is our focus. And what it comes down to really is all parties finding ways to come to an agreement, not look for reasons to delay or to say no. It is urgent that all parties make the right choices in the hours and days ahead.
And that's not going to happen because, hey, just an article from RT just to trigger the libs, because after all, triggering the libs is my favorite thing to do. The U.S. braces for more attacks on its Middle Eastern forces. Oh, my goodness. The U.S. is expecting further attacks on its troops in the Middle East as Hezbollah and Iran prepare to strike Israel. Well, hey, in case World War III does happen, I just want to let all of you know you were the best audience any YouTube content creator could ever have. Without all of you, I wouldn't be here. Shout out to our Rumble audience. You're the best Rumble audience out there. Rockfin audience, you're the best. Odyssey people, I love you. And Kick people, you are in the VIP lounge because you make Kick happen. So in case it does happen, you were the best. All right. Anyways, continuing on, several American military personnel were wounded in a rocket strike on a U.S. airbase in Iraq on Monday evening. The Pentagon reported that U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin discussed the strike on Al-Assad Air Base with his Israeli counterpart. Meanwhile, Israel is bracing for attacks from both Iran and Lebanon-based militant group Hezbollah after recent assassinations of Hamas political chief Ismail Haniyeh and Hezbollah commander Fuad Shukr in Beirut. The Jewish state has neither confirmed or denied any involvement in Haniyeh's killing. The Pentagon expects more attacks by pro-Iranian militias against U.S. forces in the region in the coming days and stressed that growing tensions in the region are making the militias feel less restrained by Iran to attack U.S. forces than they were in recent months. U.S. intelligence expects a scenario involving two waves of attacks, one from Hezbollah and one from Iran, and in combination with other regional groups. It is still unclear who will strike first and what form the attack will take, the report added. Now, hold on. This is interesting. U.S. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris have been briefed in the Situation Room on developments in the Middle East. The White House said in a statement on Tuesday, they discussed steps to defend our forces and respond to any attack against our personnel. In addition, the U.S. leadership received updates on regional threats, de-escalation efforts. Well, de-escalation efforts, maybe, I don't know, the U.S. being a global superpower could have restrained Israel from doing this unhinged, completely insane, barbaric genocide in Gaza. You know, hey, no cookies for Gaza, right? No cookies there, right? Hey, Mr. Beast, you want to fix your image? Do a YouTube video on how you're going to save the Middle East from World War III. Here, all right, there. You're dealing with a lot of stuff right now. We got to throw anything we can at the wall, Mr. Beast. Do a YouTube video how you're going to stop World War III. You got to do it. You got to do it. Okay? There you go. We'll see if he could pull it off. Probably not. This April, Tehran carried out a large-scale combined missile and drone barrage on Israel in retaliation for an Israeli airstrike on the Iranian consulate in Syrian capital, which killed several high-ranking Iranian officers. This time, Iran's leadership has promised to respond to the terrorist attack that killed Hayyan in Tehran, placing the blame on Israel. According to media reports, Hungarian foreign ministers told his Israeli counterpart that Iranians' intention to attack as Iran and Israel do not maintain diplomatic relations. What could possibly go wrong? But where is Joe Biden? Hey, do you want to see confidence? Do you want to see real leadership? Reporter, do you think Iran will stand down? Biden, I hope so. I don't know. Here. Hold on. Let's do this properly. Let's do this properly here, folks. Mr. Biden, will Iran stand down? I hope so. I don't know. 10 out of 10. Spot on Biden impression. Oh, I hope so. Oh. Here. Don't believe me? This is peak U.S. leadership.
President, do you think Iran will stand down?
He goes like, what? What'd you say? Get off my lawn, you whippersnapper.
Do you think Iran will stand down, sir?
I hope so. I don't know.
I hope so. I don't know. Peak U.S. leadership. Peak performance right there. Are you confident? Are you confident in U.S. leadership right now? Type 3 for yes, Kit, I am. I have to believe in it. Type 4, man, If World War III happens, I'm going to be very disappointed. Peak U.S. leadership, I suppose. I wonder how many fours will be in the chat. I wonder. I want to pull this up here as well. Speaker Mike Johnson suggests the U.S. should declare war on Iran with decisive force if it chooses to strike Israel. Say it with me, folks. What could possibly go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? All right, so, hey, Speaker Johnson, are you going to boot up and suit up and go on the front line? Yeah, probably not. But you and your fantastic politicians, your friends, all of you in the Congress, bet all of you are going to make a huge financial killing in war investment, right? Today, following the increased speculation of Iranian attacks on Israel after U.S. service members were injured in Al-Assad Air Base in Iraq in an attack, Speaker Johnson released the following statement. After repeated attacks on American troops in the region, while Israel is under threat from Hamas, Hezbollah, and Iran, the U.S. cannot hesitate to defend our service members and our ally. So in other words, Home Slice wants us to go to war. But is anyone in charge? Is anyone truly in charge? Hey, Nancy, are you still speaking to Joe Biden?
Have you spoken to President Biden since he
No.
dropped out?
No, I have not.
Do you hope to?
Yes, I hope to.
Yeah.
We're all
Aw.
busy.
Is everything okay with your relationship?
You'd have to ask him, but I hope
Okay.
so. But he knows. Look, I have loved Joe Biden, respected him for over 40 years.
Mhm.
I was party chair in California, then I became member of Congress, and then one thing, other housewife, House member, House Speaker.
Housewife. What? What? Say that again. Say it again, Nancy. Say that again.
In California, then I became member of Congress, and then one thing, other housewife, House member, House Speaker, working with him all along. I think he has made one of the biggest contributions to our country in the shortest period of time of any president you can name, whether it's job creation, whether it's, well, it's the first bill that protect our assault, our bill,
COVID.
shots in the
Her computer wasn't functioning. Hang on. Let's listen to that one more time because she's talking about COVID. Maybe those shots hurt her brain.
that protect our assault, our bill,
COVID.
shots in
One more time. I'm sorry. Am I being mean? Absolutely. Yes, I am. I listen, we're at risk of World War III here, okay? I'm not going to respect these politicians. People like Nancy, you know, she's just now letting the clock run out. She doesn't care what happens to the next generation. And by the way, to the liberal women out there, she doesn't give a damn about your right to choose or anything like that. She doesn't give a damn about women's rights, okay? I'm sorry to be the one to mansplain that, but liberal women, vote blue no matter who, women. Stop thinking people like Nancy care about you. They don't.
any president you can name, whether it's job creation, whether it's, well, it's the first bill that protect our assault, our bill,
COVID.
shots in the
Yeah.
arm, money in the pocket,
Shots in the arm, money in the pocket. Say that again.
COVID.
shots in the
Yeah.
arm, money in the pockets, children in school, people at work, the infrastructure bill, building in a way that is respectful of communities, chips and science to take us into the future and make us self-reliant as a country, the PACT Act to help our veterans, the IRA to save the environment and lower the cost of prescription drugs. This is in a 2-year period of time.
Yeah.
This is a remarkable agenda. He's been a great president with a vision for our country based on values, knowledge and judgment, and a heart full of love for the American people.
Before I
with
let-
empathy.
Heart full of love for the American people. So the whole so listen, Nancy hasn't been able to speak to Joe Biden. Probably Joe Biden forgot who she was anyways, you know. So it's okay. It doesn't really matter. But Kamala and Biden are still not addressing the nation in regards to potential conflict with Iran. And dare I say it, potentially with Lebanon too, because Israel is instigating attacks. I know there's a back and forth and there's both sides and everything else, but at this point, there has to be a ceasefire. But oh wait, Biden and Kamala know better because Netanyahu made a visit. He knocked on their door, made sure that they were going to be obedient. that they weren't going to upset Israel or any which way because Biden is too senile to do anything and Kamala is too incompetent to say anything. So already right now, the U.S. is just saying both sides need to calm down. They're like that parent with that kid that's going crazy in the store. I'm pretty sure all of you at some point in time, my beautiful audience, have dealt with something like that before or seen something like that before. Some parent is trying to deal with some unruly kids and just saying like, oh, guys, please stop. No, what you need to do is smack Israel upside the head and say, hey, knock it off. But too late, because the United States government is owned. So there's a reason why it's on autopilot, because nothing's going to fundamentally change, because all of our congressmen and women, all of our U.S. senators have AIPAC babysitters, including Democratic and Republican presidents. So all the other previous administrations had AIPAC babysitters. That's just how it works. Netanyahu spoke to both Kamala and Biden, and that's why you have Antony Blinken speaking, because at least you can put together a coherent sentence. But it's, again, nothing but a word salad. Is it on par with anything that we would like to hear? No. But against Biden and Kamala, he's an all-star performer, and that's not saying much. But no one's going to stop it. And if it does escalate, do you think these politicians are going to stand beside us once the nukes start flying? You think these politicians are going to boot up and suit up and fight in the front line? I mean, a lot of them are very pro-Israel. They got their AIPAC babysitters. You think they're going to go ahead and put on a little uniform and stand on the front line? No, probably not. Probably not. Who's running the show? I'll tell you who. The donors. And what have I said about the donors? The donors supersede the voters. But it's funny to always watch Nancy Pelosi struggle to speak. That's Congress. And I'm going to leave this off with Lawrence Fine. Joe still owes me $600. My friend, incorrect. Joe owes us so much more. But asking the U.S. government to stick its neck out for the people, it's a bridge too far. And I'm so sorry.
If you fool me once, it's because I didn't think a guard was needed. If you fool me twice, it's because I didn't learn the lesson, so it bears repeating. If you try the same play 3 times running, it's because you know what's coming, and you didn't come to lead, you came to purposefully be misleading. Democracy is dry. It's been a century bleeding. The husk is gaping open to the sky, out in the field where all the sheep just keep on circling and worrying and bleeding. They're waiting for the shepherd that they've tried to hide their faith in, but he's so appealing. They'd gladly give their fleece. It's such a freeing feeling that even when he leads them to the ledge and starts to urge them on, they're positively beaming. They were told that they were on their way to save democracy, so even as they plummet, they just gloat. They don't consider screaming. And halfway up the cliff, the shepherd's cozy little mittens wrap around the staff of shattered human hopes on which he's leaning. He shows the gentle grin that used to stir your inner spark, and he says, not me, us, as he gestures to the oligarchs. He knows that if he runs, they're going to stop him like a stolen car. And he'll easily surrender because it bought a lot of time for laying mines in all the grassroots. Suddenly, the tiniest of movements gets you blown apart. Suddenly, you're in a play that's set on an election day and voting for the fire, unaware you're playing Joan of Arc. Suddenly, the shepherd pulls the rug and slips a hood across your clueless mug, and everything goes zero dark. I'm gonna warn you once more before it's 2024 and you fuck around and find out who your heroes are. To take a step back from the herd, and you'll learn that you can spot who all the shearers are. If you really want to know the product that they're selling, I can take you where the mirrors are. If you think your voice is finally ready, I can tell you where the lyrics are. I hid them in a box I had to bury neath the cobble when they carpet bombed the promenade and raided all the street bazaars. Now all we've got's the marketplace, and you're too broke to even bother asking what the options for your treatment are. Suddenly, the raw debris of homeless human dignity will find it has 100 teeth for every badge and sweeper's arm. Suddenly, they speak in solidarity and each is armed. Suddenly, the sheep can see the shepherd for his truest form and all pitch in at once to help him buy the farm. And now it's zero dark, and all is calm and peaceful save the distant wail of sirens that approach beside the flames of dawn. Suddenly, the carrot's just a string that's on a stick, and all your movements make you sick because the prize is gone. Now, we could go and flee into the forest low and meek, or we can exercise our right to feast and go and graze on Biden's lawn. Because he's been sowing seeds that seep a toxin out to sap a bit from each of us and keep on leeching decades after Biden's gone. So regardless who they summon out of hell to come and do the job, it will not feel like Biden's gone. But in that time of hopelessness, you cannot trust the shepherd when he once again comes asking you to humor him his siren song. And it's cute that you can innocently, honestly assume that's just a symptom of a system that was wired wrong, and not the standard feature, basic function, primary objective of a mass hypnosis firebomb. You don't need to know the words to cry along. Someday it'll hit you like an officer who pistol whipped their ride along. Broke his jaw and kept his job and kept it moving right along. That voting isn't red or blue or black or white or right or wrong. Voting's like a firing squad where you can choose the firearm. It's slow extinction by and large. It's Super Tuesday supercharged. It's all your futures, roots and all, just tossed out on a garbage barge. It's everybody dropping out to push the biggest oligarch. It's everybody voting fire, registered as Joan of Arc.